Hi everybody, it's Adam from LUCIDPIXUL, and today I have a little quick tip for you in the case that you want to upgrade or reinstall to Windows 10. Because Windows 10 came out only a few days ago, back on the 29th, and I actually originally upgraded, and then decided, after running into a few little glitches and stuff like that, I decided to do a fresh reinstall. And I personally recommend doing the same thing. I don't know why I upgraded. I usually know better, but I decided, screw it, we'll see how it goes. It actually went pretty well, but there were a few little glitches happening here and there that would be a major issue for me in the long run, namely because, you know, I paint and I use all of these, I use a lot of programs on a daily basis, and when those glitch up, it can be very problematic, right? So what you end up having to do in that, what I recommend you do in that particular case, is when you are installing Windows 10, to, you know, either use a USB drive or, you know, burn a disk image, an ISO disk image onto a DVD and do a fresh reinstall that way. And I did, and my installation's been very, very clean. Another little recommendation, if you're going to be, if you're somebody who does like to do fresh reinstalls, which is generally how I prefer to do it, is invest a couple of bucks. It's very inexpensive to invest a couple of bucks into a cloud server if you can afford it, such as, you know, Google Drive or Dropbox. You can get tons of space. I think I have about I originally had a terabyte, and they bumped it up to like 1 terabyte point 10 or something like that for about $10 a month, or even less than that. And I think Google Drive might even be a bit cheaper than that. The advantage of that is I have made a habit of saving everything, all of my data, directly onto my cloud server. So if I do a reinstall, or if something goes wrong with my computer, no harm done. You know, I reinstall, and I reinstall the app, and I'm good to go. It usually takes me about an hour to two, and I'm completely back to where I left off without losing any data or having to reorganize anything. So that's a little side tip for you. Now, one thing that I would mention here, one thing that's important to mention, is one of the issues you might have run into if you did update to Windows 10 is you might not have updated your software or your drivers. Now Wacom is famous for being late with driver updates, and in some cases never addressing issues. You know, there's certain glitches with Wacom tablets that have been driving people nuts for years that they still haven't fixed. But in this particular case, Wacom has updated their drivers to Windows 10. They did it immediately. So if you go to, you can see here, if I go back, if you just do a Google search for Wacom drivers, the first hit you get up at the top, you'll notice that all of the drivers have been updated to Windows 10. So you can see here Windows 7, 8, and 10. And it even, in certain cases, they even include XP and Vista, right? But they're all updated to 10, so your Intuos, your Bamboos, your Cintiqs, whatever the case might be, or any kind of tablet that you're using, I don't know. I know for Wacom that they have updated them. So that might be the issue right there. However, oh yes, and another thing is Adobe has also updated all of their apps, Photoshop, Dreamweaver, you know, After Effects, Premiere, etc., etc. They all have been updated to Windows 10 as well, so make sure that that's also updated. Now, if you've done all of that, you've done a fresh, clean reinstall of your operating system, you've just installed Windows 10, all of your drivers are up to date, all of that kind of stuff. The next, you might still run into a few glitches, and I ran into one myself that drove me nuts for a couple of hours. And you know, when you're looking on forums, you get 200 complaints and questions, and one answer that may or may not solve it. And there were a few different solutions I found, but there was only one that actually fixed it, okay? That actually fixed my issue altogether. And I'm going to run you through the one that doesn't work and the one that does. And I'm going to actually let you know where this issue actually comes from. If you look at one of the issue that I ran into was brush lag, and that touch ring feature that creates this lag. It just drove me nuts. It makes it almost, it makes, you know, painting almost undoable. It's such a frustration. And I had to teach a class with this issue going on. That was, you know, it's just a big frustration. So I had to solve it quick. So if you notice here, you know, if I'm just using my regular brush tool, if I sample quick, it may or may not sample. Okay, like if I sample this color here, I did it quick, it didn't actually sample the color. And if I press and hold, sometimes there's a bit of lag. Okay, that kind of issue. And furthermore, let's say if I want it, like say if I sample this purple color, okay, or this white or whatever, it may or may not sample right away. Okay. Now if I do a, if I want to do a Control U or something like that and change my saturation, it sometimes responds, sometimes doesn't. See, it was doing this the whole time I was teaching my class, and it was very frustrating, to the point where I was, had I not found the fix, I would have just, reinstalled Windows 7 at that point. Now, one of the solutions that I found was, if you go into your Wacom tablet properties, here, just let me get back to, so I can get my thing back here. Okay. If you go into, one of the solutions was to go into your Wacom tablet properties. Okay. Go into mapping, click on mapping, and uncheck use Windows Ink. Okay. This was what told me what the problem was, but it didn't solve it. Okay. Because what the conflict is, it's a conflict between your Windows-based ink and touch feature and your Wacom ink and touch feature, right? Your Wacom painting feature. So when I unchecked this, all of a sudden, ooh, the lag was gone, right? Everything was working quickly and smoothly. But it removed one issue and it created another. And the issue was it disabled my my pressure sensitivity for my Wacom tablet. Okay, so when I started painting, I realized that I didn't have pressure sensitivity anymore. So I pressed F5 to get into my brush presets, and you could see that there was a little triangular asterisk here saying feature transfer only works with a tablet that supports pen pressure. I was like, oh crap, right? So that didn't work. So I thought maybe I just need to reinstall my drivers and software. So I reinstalled Photoshop. I reinstalled my drivers, for my tablet. Didn't fix it. I ran into the same issue. As soon as I unchecked use Windows Ink, I lost my pressure sensitivity. Okay, so it's kind of a double-edged blade in that regard. So this was the fix. This is the actual fix. It does have to do with your Windows Ink, right? However, here, if I get back in the thing, you keep Windows Ink active. However, you disable certain features. Now, if you're using Windows 10, you can just use Cordana to do a quick search here. You just do a search for pen and touch. Okay, and you'll see here the first control panel. These are web searches here. But right up at the top, you should get on the control panel the settings for your pen and touch feature. And this is a Windows feature. This isn't a Wacom feature. Okay? So the first is, in pen options, you click on press and hold right here in the square menu, and you click on settings. And here you're going to uncheck enable press and hold for right clicking. Okay? And then you click OK. Now I like to go back in a second time because sometimes it didn't seem to work the first time. I had to go back and it was checked again, and the same thing applies to flicks. So you're gonna uncheck flicks, and then you click OK. Okay. Now I still have my pressure sensitivity, but it's not creating this conflict. I'm not getting this ring menu lag and all of this crap. And now I can paint nice and quickly, and everything works perfectly fine. So as you can see, this is a reliable fix for this issue. Now there may be other issues that exist, okay, that I haven't particularly run into, but if I find any solutions for those, I'll definitely share it with you as well. Okay, so just to run through the checklist. Preferable to do a fresh reinstall of your operating system. Back up your stuff on a cloud drive if you can. Okay, it's not that expensive. Second is make sure that your Wacom drivers and your Adobe apps are updated to Windows 10 as well. Next thing you're going to do is you're going to go into your pen and touch menu for Windows, and you're going to disable those two features that I mentioned to you, including flicks and the pen and ink feature as well. All right, and that should solve your problem for you, and you can start painting and having fun in Windows 10. All right, so happy upgrade, and hopefully you don't run into any problems. Take care.